History in general.
in general. I'd say just kind of how kind of yo-yo societies have been. Like for example, and just for this is quite an interesting one. Homosexuality, for example. So in the ages like when the Roman Empire and the Spartans, in the Roman Empire, homosexuality was actually seen as more manly. So if there was a gay man, they'd be held as like the manliest of men. And in
Really?
Sparta, it was acceptable. It wasn't like they didn't see them as like in high regard. It was just like, oh, you're gay, cool, go fight. Uh, and obviously, as we came into the modern era and we became more religious, like Christianity, and like this is like we're back when suicide was a sin. They'd kind of said, yeah, no gays, we don't accept y'all, and then they're like either killing them, so they just go into hiding or hide the sexuality, obviously. Then as we kind of came forward and back in, and then homosexuality came back into the frame and came back into being accepted. It's quite a fun fact. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see.
That's so interesting, eh? Like it's gone like woo, and now it's
Yeah,
kind of really strong. And you'll even have, I know all of the church, all the Church of Germany, that their stand on homosexuality is they accept it and it's fine.
yeah.
They say that God sees it as fine. Like their bishops have said that, and
Well, I think homosexuality it occurs in every species that has sex to reproduce. So, so I doubt if it was a sin for humans to be homosexual, I doubt God would make it so that it's a sin.
yeah, that's really interesting. I knew you'd be a good guy to ask that question too. Um,
There's also a few little trivia.
oh, Wi-Fi dying. Hello, Demi. Hello, welcome, welcome. Oh, are you there, Dylan? Are you with me? Am I with you?
Yeah, yeah, I
Are we
can
together
see.
on the live? Oh, great, great. What was the trivia that you had for us?
Um, I think there's one quite interesting one, and this also the only family-friendly one I can think of. Uh, it's when the Nazis actually fought themselves accidentally. Pretty much, near the beginning of World War II, and they wanted to kind of get the upper hand on Britain, and they found out there was like some Britain's navy somewhere. So and actually on the coast of Germany, facing Britain, they had a land like undersea mines, and placed under there were like preset tracks for the ships to go through. So they sent, I think, 6 destroyers, but they also sent the Air Force without telling the Air Force the Navy was there and vice versa.
Mm.
You've got the Luftwaffe, and I don't know what they called the German Navy at the time, uh, not knowing each other's there. So then the Luftwaffe has seen the Nazi ships and been like, oh, what's happening? So they've been circling around to see what they are. And the ships have thought they were British planes. So they started shooting at the planes,
Oh,
and the planes started shooting at the ships. The Luftwaffe had no casualties, but one boat was sunk because they thought it was a submarine there. It was actually a mine that triggered. And hundreds of people were injured and like 40 died. And
wow.
then when they went back to the Nazi officer that sent them on the mission, both of them on the mission, uh, the Luftwaffe were like, "Oh, we saw British Navy, we sunk them," and then the German Navy were like, "Oh, we saw British aircraft and they sunk our ship, and there's a submarine, so we had to come back." And then they put two and two together.
What a major fail. I'd never heard of that.
Well, 99 now.
Oh, the fam is here. That is taking the mick out of your extensive knowledge. Charlotte says she's back. You must know this. So when it comes to like, obviously you've got a good brain for history. It sounds like you've got a good brain for remembering like loads of stuff. How I remember you talking about the resurrection and kind of doing history checks on the resurrection. And
Yeah.
yeah, can you explain a little bit about that kind of where you went with that?
So pretty much the process for that was obviously I need to get the resurrection down, what happened. Then you need to check how many sources there are that say this, the more the better. Obviously, there's a lot of sources for the resurrection. Kind of trying to understand what time was like back then and things like that. And then obviously, through my findings, I also found the video that I sent you, the 2-part ones.
It was good.
Watched through them, so I managed to put my conclusion with the videos. And the conclusion was obviously the resurrection did happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so would you encourage people who perhaps kind of thinking maybe Christianity is something real? Would you encourage them to YouTube, or like where would you, what would you encourage them to do?
Just go on the internet if you have a question. Search it on Google, search it on YouTube. There's a lot of helpful sources on both.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have something like Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, there'll probably be answers on there too. But with the internet, you've got the access to pretty much all the world's knowledge, so I'd say use it wisely. If you've got questions like that, use the internet to your advantage. But make sure you check more than one, because one might disagree with another and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the next question. Like, how do you know what this person's saying is true, compared to...
So if, for example, I'll take the sources for the resurrection as an example. If they all say pretty much the same to similar things and give similar details that you can link, then that means it probably did happen. Mm-hmm. And obviously that was the case with the resurrection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really cool. It's a different way to looking at faith, because a lot of people who kind of grow up in a home where they're Christian parents, they don't kind of search out the facts for themselves, and they end up not really, history would say that young people who don't find faith for themselves or kind of explore it for themselves don't actually follow God in the end. Grow up.
When it comes to things like religion, whether it be Christianity, Judaism, or whatever, I think people just go off what other people say and don't actually want to do their own research. You find that with a lot of things, but especially with religion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it's just a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, if I really want, because I am Christian, but if I really want to find out, explore all the religions, it'll take my entire life, I know stuff about Islam, I know stuff about Judaism, and I know stuff about Christianity. I know nothing about Buddhism or anything like that. Oh, Callum is saying, hi Charlotte, see my kids love me. And Charlotte says, do we? Only joking. Callum says, you'll never know the definitive answer to something because a majority can still be wrong. If there's a common belief among society, they expel any different views. And then Callum says, it's taking your own point of view at the end of the day. How do you feel about that?
I think it's I can see where he's coming from, and I agree to an extent, but usually I'd say 9 out of 10 times, if the majority consensus is this, especially when it comes to historical events, then that is what most likely happened. Obviously, if it's a historian from 2004 writing about something that happened in the 1800s, that a bit of question can be asked there. But when it's, for example, if it's a text from the 1800s that's been found and taken and written about in 2004, and there's been other texts from that time about the same event saying the same things, it's more than likely that event happened. Obviously, everything can be questioned. There's usually never a definite answer. And about the if there's a common consensus in society, other ideas get expelled, I'd also have to disagree with that. think, especially actually, I'd say that's kind of complete opposite, really. Especially in today's age where people find going against the common consensus of society cool and edgy, more people are doing it than ever, and especially now, obviously with a few exceptions like China, most countries have if you have the rights to express your freedom of speech and thoughts. So you can have your own thoughts and opinions about these things, and you can argue against the common consensus, the not so common ones. So at the end of the day, I'd have to disagree with what Callum said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you see, like as soon as Black Lives Matter, that was kind of coined. That phrase was coined because of what was going on. You could see it trending in a way where people just wanted to kind of have something to believe in and be a part of. Yeah, so you could say like caring about stuff is trending at the moment.
Well, yeah, and you could actually use Black Lives Matter as an example of what I said. The Black Lives Matter started to become the thing that normalized by society. Then people start saying all lives matter, and then even some people, usually Trump supporters, like White Lives Matter, because they don't like the fact that this is Black Lives Matter. It's racist because it's only black and stuff like that. So they've kind of said, all lives matter, White Lives Matter. And they've gone against the common consensus of society. So there's an example right there.
Yeah, there's so much freedom and space for people to have their view, especially on social media these days. It's a tool, isn't it? I think I want to finish up, man. This is really flowing though. Oh my gosh, Luke, please don't laugh that your cat died.
The fact you put LMAO at the end of that sentence.
Pardon?
My cat died, LMAO.
Well, I don't know why I'm laughing. Oh my gosh, I think I just feel awkward, so I have to laugh.
The thing is the fact that you put LMAO at the end of it. People don't normally put LMAO at the end of saying their pets died.
No, they don't. They don't. Maybe this is Luke's way of dealing with it, joining us live. Luke, if you've had a good relationship with your cat, seriously, mate, I'm sorry for you. We are sorry for you. And I hope that, you can have a nice service for it. Okay, we've got some things going on here. Andy says, all lives matter. Heart. One says, yeah, they do that, Luke. And Charlotte says, Dad, if you are a Trump supporter, I'm disowning you. Think of this. I'm here, I'm back. Think of this. Trump got voted in, so there's a large amount of people that like him. And now medicine says the perfect analogy for BLM is that if a kid broke their arm and another kid had a heart attack, which one would you go to? Obviously the one having a heart attack. That doesn't mean that the other person who broke their arm doesn't matter. It's just that the kid who had a heart attack is more important at this point.
Yeah, I've seen that similar things, kind of to what was said there. About the all lives matter is the equivalent to a house being on fire and people trying to put that out, then a house not on fire, saying, "Oh, why can't I get this car?" And I do agree to an extent with that, but racism to every race happens. Racism isn't just exclusive to people of color; it's exclusive to everyone. Now, well, I do disagree with all lives matter, and obviously, if you genuinely said all lives matter, you'd also agree with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I disagree with what's happened with the Black Lives Matter movement. I do disagree with the way the peaceful protests have gone to riots in America and occasionally in England too. And I disagree with that. But I think the Black Lives Matter movement has been made political now. It's no longer a movement. It's more of a political tool, especially in the presidential election as well at the moment. So I think, I've seen, but back to the point, I've seen the analogy quite a bit. I have to say, I agree with it to it. Yeah, I do agree with it to an extent. Yeah,
Cool. Okay, I want to wrap things up, but we've just got a few more questions. Alphonse says, what y'all think about the heat in the East Mediterranean Sea with Turkey? Do you know where he's going, or Alphonse is going with that?
I'm pretty sure he lives in Greece or somewhere around there. So he's probably talking about that. It's very hot over there, I've heard.
Yeah. Charlotte says he saw that on into Trump. Callum says Trump is good economically, not socially. Just like
I'd have to disagree with that. Boris is not good economically. Obviously, we've got a recession at the moment happening as we speak. And he's neither good socially with Trump. People say he's good economically because he's got jobs up, but he's also got the American debt up. I'd say he's done more for international relations with countries like North Korea, Russia, and countries like that than he's done economically for America. So I'd actually say it's the other way around. I think Trump is fairly decent with things like getting the crowd. He's honestly, what he says is stupid. I disagree with it, but he's a great speech giver. He can give a good speech.
Yeah,
He just yells. He yells a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what not to draw the comparison, but and he's obviously Hitler. He was what he said was wrong, but he was a great, it's a fact. He was a great speech giver, and that's what got people on board, and that's what's happening with Trump.
Yeah, he was a talented communicator, you could say.
And
persuasive, you could even say. Callum says it's all unprecedented. Conservative conserve money. That's their purpose.
It's just with that, the recession isn't about because the Conservatives have conserved money. It's just the fact that the value of this pound sterling is going down as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when Brexit comes, we've not felt the full force of Brexit yet. It's not. And obviously we've gone for a hard Brexit, which means the value of our pound coin is going to go even further down. I think it's gone past. I've seen a statistic. I think it's gone down around 10%. For in a span of 10 years, the worst hit economically in Europe, and we've been the worst. We've actually overtaken Italy for the worst hit in Europe. We're predicted to get the most deaths from COVID-related or COVID deaths. The statistic deaths last time I checked was about 40-something thousand. So we've had the equivalent of like the town of Lee wiped out in COVID deaths. So I think I'd say Boris, absolute joke of a prime minister. I'd say most definitely.
Okay, now I'm going to have to finish it up there. I think I'll finish it up there. But this has been so good, Dylan. Like our first one was good. We kind of had some fun, but we've got quite deep this time. Now, what have we got lined up? We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing Red v Yellow next week, and we're going to be doing this with someone else next week. We're going to be doing a Q&A, and we hope to get Callum and the third last week before school. We go back for school. So Callum, look forward to having you on if you're still watching. Andy thinks, we've had some good conversations. You're definitely a great guy to have a conversation with. And now, Dylan, where can people find you on the socials if they want to follow you?
Follow Dylan the Meme Dealer. Road to 1K. I'm like 20-something away. I post it ranges from very bad to kind of makes you giggle memes. I'm on Facebook as well. I don't really bother with that. I've got a private Instagram page. If you find it, drop a follow. I might accept you, might not.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can occasionally find me on the Soli page as well.
Of course, right here on Q&A. What else do we have to announce? That's it. If you guys want to go to church online, we do a church service on a Sunday at Christchurch Pennington on YouTube. Other than that, look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good weekend. And thanks again, Dylan. It's been great to chat. And I'll see you soon, mate, for our online festival. And thanks to all of our viewers and question askers. It's been great to have Andy O'Brien, 33, Mr. Popular, thumbs up, he says. Thanks to Maddie, thanks to Luke, thanks to Callum, thanks to all those who've joined, Lena, Alphonse, Snow Hospital, Charlotte, whatever. It's been a family affair today. And I'll see you guys in our